Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Today we're talking. No, I can't do it. This is Joey's setup. I can't do this. I can't do this. All right, there we go. That's a little bit more my speed. So, like I was saying, today we're going to talk about what I think is the best battle card in the set 10 meta right now, and that's Obuni. And I think that comes as a surprise to nobody. The card does a lot. You know, at first glance, you wouldn't think so. At the end of the day, like, yes, he's a very pushed card in a silo. He's a 4-drop with deflect that essentially comes with 4 attacks. So he's got like quad attack with a bunch of 15k bodies, and he himself can't be KO'd until the tokens are all gone. Fine, that's a really good card, but it's very manageable. Plus he's got the activate main that, you know, gives you an extra energy at the end of your turn. That's kind of whatever. It helps, but it's really not what you're running it for. You're running it for the fact that you're getting 4 attacks. Now, when we start wrapping that around the context of set 10, that's when Obuni starts becoming really, really powerful, because you have the fact that we now have unison cards, and unisons really and because there's such a lack of interaction for unisons, and because they are so hard to kill, it warrants a lot of cards like these being in the meta where you can get multiple attacks. I'm an Invoker player, and even I find myself attacking with all my battle cards, which usually I never want to do, just to clear out unison cards. So when you start adding that in, okay, so we want to play Obuni because Obuni gets us 4 attacks for 1 card. In a color that can untap energy, which means if you tap out to play Obuni, you can probably Dimension Magic afterwards and not die. All of that, okay, pretty manageable, pretty good. However, Obuni I find starts really being backbreaking when you add in the context that set 10 adds into it. Because any deck running Obuni is going to be running Zeno. Zeno effectively means that on turn 3, you're able to go right into Obuni on turn 4 and pretty much take out any other unison card your opponent has out. And if your opponent's playing a defensive style deck, boom, right there you have 4 attacks that you can't really deal with. So then it's like, fine, we deflect, but we have, counter battle cards. There are ways to get them out. We're going to be able to clear the board or something, or we can topo or defend ourselves. Well, good luck, because if you try and play those, we're just going to God Seal you. And this is the package that I think really makes Obuni and even breaks it to an extent. There are so few ways to reliably deal with Obuni that it just makes it incredibly backbreaking. Because if you're going to try and rely on a negate, on a battle negate like Topo, let's say, well, he's going to God Seal it away. For free, mind you. You can be completely tapped out. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to deal with the Zeno, so like this, he can't God Seal for free. That's a cool strat, but Zeno has the unfortunate benefit of having a +2 on his ramp. And this is like, and then I think Zeno is completely pushed. I think for a 2-drop unison, having a +2 is way too powerful. I get that they validated him having a +2 by only being a 9k, and like basically anything can hit into him, aside from 1-drop outgaze. It's cool in context, but in the reality that the way the game plays out, having a +2 is way too powerful, because that means on my turn 2, if I'm going second, or my turn 3, I need to swing into him 4 times to even like potentially get in, not including the fact that my opponent can, set up a way to maybe be able to combo out or something, or if he has a blocker. In Vegeto's case, he probably does. So it's just like, so many things wrap into making Obuni so insanely good as a battle card, which, for what it's worth, if I was making what's the best unison card video, it'd be this card. So like, you package the best unison card, with what I think is the best counterplay card, on top of the best battle card, because we're in a unison world now. And I think that just goes to put it all together. I think this is an insanely powerful combination of cards altogether. And on Zamasu's case, you're also dealing with the fact that you have an awakened leader on turn 2, because they probably Zamasu'd into ramp into Zeno to have 4 energy to awaken. So it's a lot of things that happen all together that make it so insanely powerful. And then we will think, okay, well, what are the answer cards? The first one I think of going to all the time is Exploding Weakness. Exploding Weakness is a great card because it doesn't matter if your card has deflect, and it ignores Obuni's can't die ability because he's just going to wipe the board. It's a -20k across the board, and I get to bean my leader, which means Zamasu shenanigans. If my leader's awakened, he's going to have to pitch some cards to deal with. Well, God Sealing laughs at that. It's like, ah, good luck getting through. So now, just to get my Exploding Weakness through, I need to combo Exploding Weakness while also either having an Almighty Resistance or playing a Swift Retaliation Cooler, which means that my answer to his 4 energy play needs to, at minimum, be 5 energy or 6. So you bunch that all together and it just makes it really tough because his turn 4 play is so much more value and harder to answer than the way I can answer with his play, you know? So then it's not really a viable option. Then what about Topo? Well, like I was saying, Topo can be God Sealed. So just as much as any battle card. So any battle card response is going to get God Sealed. So now just to make Topo work, I probably need to be in a blue deck. I need to have Dimension Magic so that I can Topo, Dimension Magic, Topo. And that's just to make sure I'm not taking 6 attacks in one turn. Fine. Then extra cards. We could Crusher Ball the tokens and then he gets like 2-3 attacks that turn as opposed to 6. Fine. It's not great, but it's something. And obviously there's Dormant Potential. Dormant Potential is probably the cleanest answer because, you know, blue doesn't run any counters. And it means that we're probably going to be able to it means that we're going to be able to stop the rest of his attacks. Not all of them. So we don't stop the first one, but we stop the rest of them. And we kill all the tokens, which is super key. I think Dormant Potential is the best answer to Obuni shenanigans, and actually why I think green is really well lined up to play against mono blue. Mono blue shits on a lot of the meta. I, as an Invoker player, cry every single time I play up against mono blue. But green is really, really strong in that it can not only answer the Obuni plays, but it also plays hand destruction, and blue doesn't have the best form of hand draw. Sure, they have the apes and they have the leader and they can mitigate it, but green really is your best option going forward to try and beat this. And that's kind of where I'm leaving it at. I think Obuni is insanely pushed. I think the whole package he's wrapped around is really powerful, if not too powerful. My biggest gripe, I think, is Zeno. Because if we had a reliable way to make sure Zeno goes below 2 markers to 1, then I think he wouldn't be so bad. But because Zeno, if we just go back, because Zeno is a +2, meaning he's always going to be a +4 to start off with, it makes it so hard to mitigate taking down Zeno while also trying to make plays that are going to win you the game. So that perfect storm of these 3 cards all coming together are why I think Obuni is as backbreaking as he is. That said, we are in one of the healthiest metas we've ever seen, which just goes to show that other decks are powerful and that there's enough maybe green, aggro, because you can out aggro blue. So there's probably enough green and aggro, which makes sense because, right, there's Dredgeku, there's Vegex, we saw Ginyu of all things. So all these things together, and you can mitigate, the fact that this is super powerful. However, if blue gets any more tools, I can see one of the pieces warranting an errata, if not just an outright ban. And that just goes to show, like, this is so powerful. And it's powerful explicitly because we're also in a unison meta. And Obuni, not even just the fact that he can aggro you super hard, but if you need to clear an opponent's unison card, he double duties as being the best card to do it. All these things come together to just make him really, really, really good. So a lot of people have been calling out for bans for Obuni. I get why, but the meta is so open, I don't think it's warranted right now. But I can see a world where we move forward and it probably does warrant it to an extent. With that said though, I just picked up 3 copies myself. I'm going to be playing mono blue. I've been on Invoker. I'm not giving up Invoker, but I love mono blue. Just goes to show that, however, this is insanely strong. And this is my explanation as to why it's so good. And I don't think it's going away anytime soon, because I think as long as unison cards are going to be a powerful metagame warping type of strategy, cards like Obuni that have deflect and can shit out a ton of attacks and give you additional value on top just for the heck of it are always going to be staples, because if you don't, those unisons are going to run over you. Well, those are my thoughts on Obuni and what I think is not only the best battle card in the game right now, but the best unison and the best counterplay. This is more of an offshoot video than I do. Of course, we will be going back to the R-Type 101s and things. I know I have a couple more of those complete. So if you want to catch more of my videos, feel free to subscribe. If you thought my points were pretty okay, give it a thumbs up. If you think I'm totally off, hey, thumbs down works too. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of Obuni. What do you guys think of Mono Blue? This kind of my own little echo chamber. It's the ideas I've been spewing in my head for the last little bit, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.